Hey everybody, welcome to Prime Joe Time. Today I have Jeff Maleek. He was in the military in France. He did some cool training there, and he's here to talk about his background, his athletics, and talk a little bit about his business here and see dive into that. It's gonna be exciting. So first, I'd just like to ask you about you said you went through the selection process in
Mhm.
SAS.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is and the difference or what might be comparable to Canada, like
Sure.
military service?
First of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to share a bit of what my experience and starting with the military. To give a bit of a context, the French SAS is comparable to the English SAS. It's the same platform, same structure. It's a special force regiment called Premier RPMA in good French. We call it more French SAS internationally, so they know who it is. We can compare it to the Delta forces in the US and kind of a GTF2 in Canada. If we go into details, we can see there is many differences. Just with the war experience, for an example, this is what I'm going to difference most of the regiment or units depending on the country they're from. So this is the top of the spear of the French army, which has a lot of history. It was created mostly during the World War II with the SAS, the British SAS, when they did a call with de Gaulle, and they went back in France to get France back, basically. And the French SAS is different than the Commando Marine, which is more than like the SEALs in the US. And again, I like to mention it. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is the French Foreign Legion." French Foreign Legion has nothing to do with special forces. They're not special forces. They are like mid-rank of conventional regiments. Again, nothing against conventional regiments. We need a bit of everything to make a world. And I just want to make sure that all people say, "Hey, you did the French Foreign Legion." I say, "No, not at all. This is nothing comparable." And you can find all the information online if you want to make sure learn more about it.
I looked it up on Wikipedia actually just to see, so I kind of have some background. And
Yeah.
I was reading there's a selection process, how difficult it is to get selected to be part of this elite group.
So it's very tough. So first of all, it's before going through the selections, you are selected. So you have physical tests, psychometric tests, mental tests, interviews, and so on. And after maybe we're going to go through that, but I have a cool story related to a cadre that was one of my interviewer, and now he's working with me now in Canada. So that's the world is very small. But just to go back to selections, you go through a battery of tests where you have, for an example, it's like 15 pull-ups, more than 50 plus push-ups. The bib test, you have to do the top. All this kind of stuff. The psychometric is like understanding the world, like the 3D. They ask you tricky questions to see if you answer the same thing all the time or not. To try to see if you cheat or not somehow, or try to hide something, because they are looking for a very specific type of people that go through it. And then you are potentially selected. You can go in a regiment that is similar to the SAS, but more into reconnaissance, more into spy, and so on, like a support special force regiment, I would say, where the French SAS is more the action part of it. So you can still choose, and in the end, they say, okay, depending on your results, this one or this one. But you also have an interview with the guy from the regiment and ask you questions. What do you want to enroll and go in that regiment? Do you think you got it? Why do you think you're good at it? So you have to be very humble. I do think that humility is very important in any kind of job, basically, especially in the tactical world. And I know you're correctional. You need humility, right? It's very important. We do badass stuff, but we are very humble people, right? We are aware of the power we have and the training we receive. And going through that, after that, you selected. And for me, I was selected. So they send you a letter and they say, yeah, okay, so you selected, see you in September. And so I started, and the selections only is 13 months.
Mm-hmm.
So a year and 1 month. So it's tough. So basically, at the moment you start till the end, you don't know if you pass it or not. So it's constant stress, mental, physically. It's not hard. Like, yes, you need a minimum standard, obviously, but the toughest one is the mental aspect of it. You have to go through it without knowing if you did good, not enough, or if you did bad, and they don't give you results or the notes, right? So you never know. And I think the most difficult is to manage the body, because you push so much physically and mentally that if you get injured, usually this is where people like break even mentally.
So how did you prepare before you did this? Like, were you always fit? Were you into fitness or?
Yeah, I've always been like, since I'm a young boy. First of all, my dad did 20 years in the same regiment as a French CCS. He's one of the first one in the regiment that they brought CQB, so close quarter battle. It was called INVEX in the past, investigation and extraction. So I always stayed around like high level people, tier one people, right? Like my family after that. Well, I have a healthy family, even though they divorced at some point. Like they always took care of us. My dad was always around the world. My mom was more like always in the country in the informatic. But I always been into sports. I needed sports to express myself. I always felt a bit aside of the master group, right? I had a lot of energy, and I was looking for a brotherhood or a tribe where I can like stick to them and become the best version of myself with the best, right? And I discovered American football and later on like the martial arts. So I always been into fitness. I always push my body very high. Maybe we're gonna go through that on how and at which level. But for me, I just discovered a way to train differently because the military it's very straightforward. You have to run, push, pull, and very the basic stuff, and mostly carry a big backpack on your back and a firearm and go anywhere you need to go. So the selection for me was stressful because I always put the bar very high, but it didn't stress me out to the point like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I was pretty confident because of my background, but I never took it as granted. So I always gave my best.
So like, what unit were you in before you even got selected? Because I was reading that there's like different units in this. Like there'd be like the
Yeah.
paratrooper unit guys like coming from the planes, like parachuting.
Yeah, parachuting. Yeah.
I don't know what other units were involved in it though, but I don't know if you had a specialty you were part of before this or just.
Not even. Actually, the year when I enrolled was open to civilians directly. No, it sounds a bit crazy, but I don't know if it's actually the case. It depends on the years most of the time. Even in the French SAS, some year they're going to say you have to come from another regiment before applying. But for many years, they say, well, civilians are welcome, but they were well selected. But the funny part is, compared to someone that come from another regiment, they're the average guy are mostly civilians originally, because the guys are from other regiment, they have to unlearn something or way to do to relearn the special force way. So it's a bit more pressure and a lot of work, like to install some application in your mind and way to do to just for the firearm handling, the way we should, the procedure during and after the mission, even before when you prepare the missions, it's way different because you work with a team of 12 maximum, where in the past in a conventional regiment you up to 40, right? So for me, it's still, that's why I say there is the selections before the selections, where you have a guy from a regiment, he did that for that many years. He say he wants to apply for the regiment, and he joins the civilians afterward. After 3 months, we had the group of regular military guys that joined us. Okay. But when they join, they don't have any ranks anymore. They're like from the bottom. You start from the bottom.
Oh, it's gotta be hard for some guys that you, like you said, being humble.
Yeah, that was very interesting to see that, because a lot of them came to us and say, "Hey, I did that many years before. You just a civilian. Well, buddy, we're in the same place right now. We're going through the selections. We go together, or you go by yourself and try to think you're the best, and then you're gonna fail because this is not the SAS mindset. And the mindset is very important." Yeah.
So you said, like, was it the 13 months of not knowing if you're gonna be cut or not? Was that like, what was the hardest part about the training for you?
The hardest part is for sure mentally, because even when you give your best, first of all, you do a lot of things that you never do or experience in the civilian world, right? For an example, like just to give a simple example, you put a huge backpack, you have firearms, you have a mission to follow and to succeed, and you have to plan, you have to go through it, which most of the time people understand that how tough it is to carry so much weight, and most of the time by night, with all the gear and the importance of succeeding the mission behind. Like it's important to you train, and they train you so hard. You have to succeed, right? This is why you're in the special forces. So it's a lot of pressure somehow. And some people would say that, yeah, your dad did 20 years. It was easier for you. Man, it was everything but easier for me. So much pressure because my dad had a big name in the regiment, and people used to look, they knew who I was, but I didn't know who was looking at me. But I saw a lot of people asking questions in the back. So you don't know what to say. You don't know what they think about you. And they're in the military. I don't know if it's the case in the police system, or I heard that it's the same, but they judge you a lot by your face or how you look like. So if they don't like your face, usually they go after you and they make you pay more than others. But if you make it through,
Yeah.
they respect you a lot.
I like that. I don't like your face. So,
Yeah,
I've heard that.
That's sad, buddy. That's sad somehow.
Yeah. So what were you, while you were training, were you doing anything else? Like, were you doing any other sports besides this, or were you just focused like just on this training?
No. So once you go through the selections, you have nothing else but the selections. Sports is part of your training, part of the selections. You tested every 3 months. You tested again and again on the same things. So for an example, you have to run 8 kilometers in 45 minutes with a backpack and all the uniforms. You have to. We became paratroopers as well, and through the selections at some point. So basically, you have the basic selections where you have a lot of people that leave at this time, and after you have the other military guy that join, and then they train you more on actual SAS missions. For an example, like how to set up a mission, use that equipment. They teach you shooting, so you have to pass some tests and make sure you respect the notes and so on. So you have to be a good shooter, you have to be a good thinker, you have to plan accordingly, you have to know to use that vehicles, that firearms, that equipment. You have to know how to take care of yourself, how to survive with very few things, and how to keep going when your mental is under pressure. Like the mission to succeed, but also the people around, like the instructor that watch you like 24/7.
Well, how much experience did you have with firearms before going to the military training? Like in France, like what are like the rules with guns and stuff, like comparable to here in Canada?
Yeah,
US?
so now in Canada we kind of fucked, how we say. But in France it's longer. The process is longer, but you still have access to some AR-15, for an example. You have a bunch of firearms. It's more some categories instead of restricted and non-restricted. It's categories of firearms that, for an example, you need to be an owner for 3 years before having an actual AR-15 or something like that. I'm not very familiar with that. I know a bit of it, but before myself, I didn't have much experience with firearms. I don't know if airsoft counts as a firearm, but I was very into milsim, where I learned a lot about the military. I always been passionate about military. Like since I'm young, I see my dad, and I wanted to be like him, right? And I stayed around like top tier 1 SAS guys. So I never really had an actual training with the firearms. So I learned everything in the military.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Did you find that like difficult, or was it just come naturally to you?
No, I always been passionate by it. I'm quite good at what I do and experience, especially when I love it. By the time you respect the rules, there is no pressure to put on. And also what I loved into the regiment is like they don't put you too much pressure on some things, because if you've been selected somehow to be there, they trust you enough to be able to use such like equipment or firearms. So that was, for me, I loved it. And I discovered a lot of things about myself. I was a good runner, which I never thought I was. And I was a good shooter with pistols and carbines and so on. After that, you go through like mortars, and you go like with the 50 cal and so on. So you don't have to be accurate. You just shoot what you see.
Oh,
That's the cool stuff.
Those guns are crazy.
Yeah.
They're huge. So like what's one of the things you miss most about being part of this regiment, part of this team? Like,
Yeah, I think it's, the quality of the men you have in it. This is guys that they give their best to become the best. I always pushed to be the best in everything I did, like through sports, or even like I was a welder as well, right? I like the work when it's well done, but also with humility, right? Trying to be the best, but with humility, I think is very important and very well seen somehow, right? You want to learn from these people most of the time. And I lead by example. And this is why I liked as well in the French SAS is like they lead by example. They do it before they show you, hey guys, this is possible. Look, we did it before before we were here, right? And before you were here, we did it. We show you and prove you that it's possible. And then you do it, and staying with a bunch of guys that push themselves, that just elevate you, and the brotherhood, because you go through so much hard stuff that at some point you question yourself so much, and people say, yeah, you have to be a Rambo by yourself, the most jacked, and the most jacked guy like usually quit after 2 weeks because he has to carry his weight.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm jacked, but I see bigger guys. It was like, this guy gonna last longer. And when you see guys all like this, and he just shut the fuck up and goes, he put it back. It's hard for him, but it goes. And this kind of guy, I miss that because it pushes you forward and elevate you.
Yeah, you can say all show, no go.
Yeah.
So like transitioning from there, what was the thing that was most difficult about just like getting out and then having to go to like a normal civilian like job, or
You mean afterward?
like after like leaving and like discontinuing from the army, and like just like what was the hardest part about like going back to being a normal civilian like out of the regime?
It was tough, especially this transition was tough for me. I understood a lot about myself, like spiritually mostly. I wasn't really religious or even spiritual. I was very Cartesian, and like I believe what I see. And I started to experience things like with spirituality and understand a lot about myself and how more capable I am, even though I went through the hardest selections in the world. It was a big mess up. I was at kind of a depression somehow. I felt lost. I tried to go back to football because I played 11 years American football. Yes, in France we have American football. I played with the French team, and I also play in semi-pro in Canada. So I pushed myself. So that was the only thing I had left where I could find myself, with a bunch of guys in a sport team and so on. But after that, I just get injured 2 times to my arm. It never happened to me before. And then I think life pushed me to just sit and think about you right now. Try to cultivate that spiritual thing, right? And to understand yourself better inside and outside, because you push your limits physically and mentally, but somewhere emotionally maybe and spiritually, there is something you have to discover. And that forced me. It was tough. Like, don't get me wrong, it was tough. I had some family like arguments, and then I decided to go back to Canada in 2018, which I did, and I wanted to become a SWAT officer, operator. After that, I started my business directly. But the toughest was like, yeah, you're in a structure that is very strict. You basically you taught to do what they want you to do, and then when you go back in the civilian life, it's you by yourself.
Yeah.
You have no more structure or someone to tell you what to do. And I think this, for most guys that did many years as well, it's the toughest thing to find, like, to do it on your own and trust yourself.
Man, I found it really cool that you played football.
Yeah.
I was reading that in your bio. That's so cool, man. So when did you start playing football? Like, were you young?
Yeah, at 14 years old.
And then you said you injured your arm. Was this playing football?
Yeah, at a training practice, I broke my arm. No, actually, I dislocated my wrist first, and then played the game like few weeks after, which was a bad idea, obviously, and broke straight my arm. So it wasn't like in L shape, but it was tough because I had a cast and I felt like in prison. When you can't move anymore, I need to move. I think my biggest fear is to that someone take my freedom away. When you're not being able to move or think or do whatever you want, that scares me a lot.
Yeah, I hear you there. I had my knee brace on. I felt like, oh man, I felt terrible.
You feel like useless.
Yeah, like how you've gone pretty far playing football too. Like I was reading that you did some, like, was it World Cup or
Yep.
And that was in Texas. Like you were all over the place. Like playing semi-pro is pretty cool.
Yeah, I started in the Basque Country. This is where I'm from, southwest of France, in a city called Bayonne. Biarritz, for those that know the destination for the surf thing. I was a surfer. I'm still a surfer now. I go to Tofino. I love surf. It connects you very much to nature. But I discovered football, and again, American football at the age of 14 years old. And from that, after the first practice, I was like, I want to do that You can hit people
Yeah.
however you want. It's a very strategic sport. You have to give your best individually, but for the big picture, which is the team, I love it. It reminds me of the special forces.
Yeah.
You give your best by individually for the team to succeed the mission. And I played since I started. I was like, okay, I want to be in the national team,
Yeah.
and I pushed. And 2 years after I was selected and was in the national team, I did the European Championship. We were vice champion. Unfortunately, we lost again the Austrian guys. They're huge guys. We played against Swedish. Like many games, that was great. And then I was still selected, so we did the World Cup in Texas, in Austin.
Wow.
And my best game was against the American Samoas. Huge games, and some of them play in the NFL right now. I'm still in touch with them.
Oh.
Awesome experience, man. You go in Texas. This is the football country. You experience it like the big way. And then I played in Canada. I was drafted as well. I played in college. And then university was not for me anymore. I didn't see the why I should pay so much money just to play football, because I didn't like I'm not a very scholar guy. Like, school for me is like.
Where was that? Where were we playing?
It was in Quebec,
In Quebec?
in, University of Sherbrooke.
Okay.
And I figured out it was not for me anymore. I found and again, it was before the military. So I was younger, but I didn't see myself. It didn't fit with me. And also in the university in Canada, this is 3 downs. It's called Canadian football, not American football. I didn't like it very much. And then I decided to go semi-pro, where we were champion of Quebec. So we go back more with an actual American football system, not Canadian. So you play with CFL guys, even some NFL guys, and you play. I just did 1 season, and after that, I went back to France, where I wanted to become like a French SAS.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So like, and also at this point in time, I was reading that you were doing MMA. Like, when did you start doing all the jiu-jitsu and the kickboxing and the Muay Thai?
Yeah. So MMA it's not really MMA. It's mostly Muay Thai. I started before going into the military. I did my permit I don't think it's my permit, but my certificate to jump, to be a skydiver. I wanted to be prepared before enrolling. So, having a step forward, so I don't have to learn everything one shot, because there is a lot of stress already when you learn so much about yourself and the techniques and so on. So I wanted to be skydiver, had 15 jumps. I was a surfer on the side. I used to go to the gym, and I started martial arts. I wanted to know how to defend myself. I always been a fighter, but not for the best reason. I always been a protector, though. I never tried to fight to hurt people for nothing, for no reason. I was a protector. So I always used to fight since I'm very young, but street fight. And I wanted to have some structure and know how to fight properly. I started with Muay Thai, which is, the sports of the 8 limbs, right? I wanted something that brings you the closest to reality. I'm very much someone that do things that can serve you in your everyday life, to defend yourself, defend someone, to be a good overall human being, but for something that is useful, not just for entertainment, right? And I did a bit of grappling, but I'm not a fan of it. Grappling, jiu-jitsu, I was like, that's tough though. It's because it's tough. I'm not a fan of it, but I have a good defense. I'm a good fighter. I have a good mindset, which helps me a lot. But I did, I did mostly Muay Thai fights. I have a record of 3 victory, 1 loss by decision. And my first fight was my first loss. It was against the champion of my region in France. It was such a fight, but it was like 2 gladiators. We had the same height, same weights. It's pretty rare in Muay Thai. Man, he sent me these low kicks. I couldn't walk at the end of it. But that was such a great experience. And yeah, after I played in France, in Quebec, and lately in the Okanagan.
And that's where you are now. You're in BC.
Yeah, I'm now in Penticton, BC. And I'm also officially Canadian, so French and Canadian.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So I have my citizenship, so I'm pretty happy of it, yeah.
When you were in Quebec, I had a French teacher tell me that his wife was from France, and she was like, "This is not real French." Like, she was like really critical of the the language of
Yeah.
Quebec. And
Well, I'm gonna shock some people, but I'm from France.
Yep.
But I can tell you that the Quebecois
Yeah.
speak an actual more accurate French language with the term they use. Of course, there is more slang language, but when they decide to speak well, like professionally, as they do, they use better terms. They're way more accurate. The accent, though, is from the mix with the English, right? Living with English people, but also it's because in France, we used to speak like this in the past, right? Language is always evolving. Now in French, we have more clear language, which is which is easier for English people to understand us when we speak French, and if they do too.
Oh.
So, yeah.
You've done a lot of cool stuff. So you said that you were aspiring after like all this, you came back and you were aspiring to join the police. Like, did you apply anywhere?
No, I wanted to, but I needed to become a permanent resident. So when I came back to Canada, I used my trade job like welder, which helped me a lot because they need welders. And from that, I did my experience to become permanent resident. And, many things happened. I came back in 2018. Then in 2020, we had COVID.
Yeah.
So many things happened, like socially. We all experienced it, right? Somehow. And joining the institution after things I've seen, with some events, I was like, I don't know if I want to join. Don't get me wrong. I still have faith in policing. I see a lot of good things. And now I train police officers in security and corrections and military. So I'm still into that environment, but I decided to start my own business because I love teaching. I love teaching, and I'm someone that is very passionate. So when I love something, I'm very good at transferring the knowledge and the practical way to do so. And I've been trained with the biggest and the best in the military, right? You learn survival, you learn shooting, you learn so many things, like just pushing your body and your mental capabilities. I love to do that. And I do think that each individual has so much to experience and to cultivate in their life. I feel so bad for the people that don't even try, because we are so capable to become the best version of ourselves. And I just help people to do that. So that's why I decided to start MLK Abilities.
Yeah.
And today I also, I always passionate by obstacle course since I was in the military, and I've did some Spartan races and so on. And I now built the Canada's largest obstacle course.
You built it?
Yes, it's in Penticton. Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, military style.
And people can find that through your website, the MLK website.
So MLK Abilities is more the tactical courses, self-defense with night defense and so on, and fitness programs. But the other one is called Okanagan Warriors Adventure. So it's the facility itself. So we have more than 46 obstacles right now. It's a permanent obstacle course. It's a military style. And I've built it with my welder skills and so on. And obviously, I had some incredible volunteers and people that believed into the project. So now since 2 years, it's running. And we run mostly team building activities.
Oh, you have so many skills. Like even jump back to the welding. Where were you welding? Just all over the place, or like?
Yeah, I welded in France, where it was when I was in we saw it. Do we say it's called the lycée? What, high school? I would say in North America. That was the job I was learning. Yes.
Oh man, you've done so much cool stuff. Welding's a great trade too.
It is. Love it.
So, what's your favorite thing to teach in your business? Like the gun shooting, or like the tactical stuff, or
the first? Well, I'm gonna divide it in three sections. The first one, more professionally, is CQB and shooting. So CQB is close quarter battle. Okay. So how to clear rooms and buildings with firearms. We teach deliberate, which is way more accurate and made for single officers, for an example, even small teams. Shooting, I love shooting. I love teaching that, and I think this is very important skills, even like for all armed professionals. I mean, you're responsible to carry the most dangerous, but also the one that can save lives, right? So you have to be careful when you use it, and you have to master it, right? Secondly, I would say it's called the commando experience, and no, we don't run with with underwear everywhere. It's more like commando, like the military style thing, like mindset. So we push people. It's basically a military experience where for 40 hours, we push your limits physically, mentally. It's in Penticton through the obstacle course. So with the obstacle course, I teach the basic survival things. We teach you how to set a backpack, how to take care of yourself. We push you mentally, physically.
It's 48 hours.
40, yeah.
So you also like, guys, let's go into like the bush, like just
Yeah.
like for 2
Yeah,
days.
no phone, no watch, by yourself. You don't eat much, you don't sleep much. We do night activities, we do day activities. It's basically a selection experience over 2 days, over a weekend.
I in my school and as a kid we used to have outdoor education. We'd go and build like Quincy huts, like a little
Okay,
snow
yeah,
hut,
yeah.
and you just stay out there for the night. and
Yeah.
sleep. I loved it. That'd be a cool experience.
It is. People love it, but it's because I love this one because we change people so much. People are so exhausted at the end of it, but they're still so energetic because we boosted their confidence and they feel like so powerful, and they can go back into society, into their job, or into their fitness journey, and inspire others, but also understanding that your body is more capable than you think. It's everything is in the mind, and we give tools to. That's why we push limits. Once they break limits, we tell them, "Look, you did it. I'm sure you can push more." And that's crazy what people can do.
So you guys like you make people stay awake. It's like is it kind of like the military training? Like, hey, you got to stay awake.
Yeah.
Like you stay
Yeah,
up.
we give a lot of information. We teach them like navigation, shelter, how to make a shelter, fire, water, backpack, equipment, many things. So they're always learning things, and we show them that even when you're tired, you can still absorb informations. But what they prefer to experience is to the teamwork.
Yeah.
They understand that all you want to be by yourself in the front, it doesn't work. You have to push the group.
One of the hardest things I find is a lot of people can't do is the map and compass. You teach people how to do map and compass and like how to navigate like that?
Yeah. So we teach them in an hour, and after they go, we do a navigation race.
Yeah.
And they use the skills, and they go grab some informations. They have to memorize them, come back, and give us the informations. If they miss, they go back again. So they understand that they were tested all the time. It's kind of a selection experience, and I love it, and it's accessible for everyone.
So do you ever like have to have the hard conversations? with people like, hey, you didn't pass the course today, and
yeah, we tell them like, guys, you have to wake the fuck up, guys. Like wake up.
Yeah.
Like stop suffering life. You're capable and more than you think. It's just like when they get tired and don't eat much, the comfort zone is so far away from them, and usually all they need is a small fire, a good warm food, and then they start to come back to themselves. But this is in these moments that we test them. And you see the real and true personality, who is really selfish or not, who's faking or not, right? You cannot fake. And we're going to see it. And we test you. We ask good questions. Sometimes I say, do you want to quit? You can quit. There is the bell over there. You want to quit? But we don't beat people for nothing. We're very respectful, and we just try to make them understand that they are more capable than they think. And the tools we use, they were used on us, and we know they work. It's not bullying. And this is the first thing we say. We have a lot of respect. We don't insult anyone, right? We respect them a lot because of what they go through.
Yeah. Do I have to when I do this? Do I have to like go get medical clearance before I can come out and do this course? Or is it like, hey, like, buddy's gonna come out and have a
Yeah, we teach medicals as well.
okay.
Like how to apply a tourniquet, right? Basic stuff.
It's like a first aid kind of deal.
Yeah, very first aid. Like, of course, we don't go through very hard stuff. We go through the basics because it's still a lot of informations.
Yeah.
But they have to practice and put it in practice as well.
But even for me to come do your course, do I have to like get medical clearance first? Like, do I have to go see a doctor before I can come?
I see what you mean. Yeah. No, I mean, unless you have like a very bad medical state, like, no, I mean, I've seen a guy, he went through 3 cancers and he was there, he finished it.
Oh, wow.
We had a 16-year-old girl, she made it. We had she was 65 years old woman, she made it. Okay. Right? So this is where we prove people that your body, whoever you are, if you decide to push, you can do it.
So you just have like waivers, and it's like
we have waivers. If they have any concern or allergies, they have to mention it because we provide food, and they just we give a list of equipments. They have to respect it because we're gonna check, and this is all they bring, just to spend a night out, and that's it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that sounds very interesting. And you said that you actually you have a team around you. So
Yeah.
you had guys that were in the service with you, you said joined you in Canada,
Yes.
and you guys are all running this together? There's like a,
Yeah, I'm so grateful for the team I have around me. They are the reason why I keep going even when it's tough to run a business. Um, Especially this kind of business, the type of courses we offer is very like kind of unique kind of or very specific. It's not made for everyone, but I think anyone deserve it. But yeah, that team, first of all, most of them went through military background, police background, security background, or just pure like outdoor journey background. They are so we have the same mindset, and I'm very happy and grateful for that to have them because they remind me the military. They understand the why behind the why we do it, which is very important. We don't do it just for fun or for money. Yes, it's fun. Yes, we can make money from it, but the most important is the big picture, how we change people. We're so passionate that basically people have so much fun and they'll come back. I do think it speaks volumes when people come back, even though they go through hard stuff. For me, that's the why we do it, right?
where you do these courses for this outdoor challenge and your obstacle course, you must have a bit of land to do that. Are you renting this land or you
Yeah,
just like own it or?
yeah. I rent it when I arrived in Penticton. I was looking for land to build the obstacle course, and I wanted to use it for all these kind of survival courses as well. And a native woman, Dolly Kruger, hi to her. She believed into the journey, and she's like, "Oh, I'm interested in Jack. Can we talk for?" So we chatted for an hour, and she said, "Okay, come over. I have a land for you." So we are in the Inland Band, um, in Penticton, and she said the land when I arrived, I was like, "That's just perfect. I can see it right now." And a year after, I've built it, and now it's getting more and more successful. By the way, next year we have the first annual race, so it's called the Western Canada OCR Open. So it's like the Spartan race, but different, right? Um, so we do the first annual race over there for anyone that want to do it.
Will people be able to find that on like your social media, your website, or will
Yeah,
this be like a completely different
no, it's on
or
the Okanagan Warriors Adventure. I'm sure we can put the links. Okanagan Warriors Adventure is the obstacle course itself. That is all the activities that happen on the facility is what we put on it. MLK Abilities, as I say, is just more like fitness, even the commando experience, but it's more like the crew, the team. It's mostly MLK Abilities. So we kind of merge both. I merge both, basically. They complete each other.
Oh, that's awesome. So are you go all over the place because like you're not only here. I was reading you have a location in Quebec too, or out east or
We
something.
used to. So when I
Oh, okay.
came back in Canada, I was in Quebec first, till I became permanent resident. So we used to teach CQB, and I started MLK abilities in Quebec.
Okay.
And when I moved, I built the obstacle course, and now I'm mostly here. But for an example, for CQB, we teach now in the US, in Europe, in Canada. Sammy came last time,
Yeah.
so I'm actually, and mostly in the US. So we have now a big market to explore and deeper because we already teach over there. So
Okay.
that's a cool journey. Yeah.
What does it take to get like certified? You said like what does that mean? Like you're certified internationally. Like who do you have to go through to get certified?
So ASP was different. Obviously, it's more like handcuffs, baton, OC spray. But for the CQB course,
Yeah.
basically, I've built a system that is more. So in the military, you use different kind of equipment. The mission is different. The identification is different as well. As a police officer that is most of the time alone,
Mhm.
they don't have a limited access of gear or equipment or even firearms. And the jurisdiction behind this, which means like when you when you go into a building to save someone or kill a bad guy, you have to be careful. You really have to identify first before shooting. Where in the military, it's a bit different. So I decided to use the concept we use in CQB for in the special forces, which was deliberate and not dynamic. Well, there is a big war within it, but this is two concepts that have their place at a certain moment. But we use more deliberate than dynamic, and I decided to use that and adjust it for law enforcement or small teams, where basically you have more chance to survive and you have more chance to collect informations before taking the decisions, whatever it is, shooting, not shooting, arresting or not. And so to be certified. So we certified IADList, it's called, so they can find more on the website. It's basically you have to submit the program like in details. What do you teach? Why you teach it? How? Videos, pictures, and so on. They go through it. They want to know who's the guys that teach it, and then they do a kind of interview, who you are, why you do this, and so on. They're gonna try to see if it fits with the law enforcement world, and then they say yes, it's approved or not. And we were approved, and we are actually the only CQB that have the IALIS certification in the USA. So that's huge.
That's gonna be great for you.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
What was the hardest part about getting a business going when because you're coming in, you weren't a permanent resident? Like, what was the most difficult thing to get yourself going?
That's tough questions because I started MLK in 2020.
Yeah.
And initially, I just wanted to teach firearms training, and then the ban occurred. So it was like, okay, well, it started pretty well. Never I thought I would be an entrepreneur, but then the ban occurred. I cannot have firearms. I want to teach people. Law enforcement especially. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to teach some obstacle course, fitness, survival, boot camps. And then it started to catch a bit, but then there is COVID. And I was like, geez, what's going on? Like, yes, it's not my country. It's not my culture. I have to adapt to it, right? Which I love to do it, right? I don't pretend to be anyone and say, hey, you should be my way. No, I come in Canada. I do it the Canadian way. But in Quebec was very special. Like it's another province, not another mentality. So I really wanted to go more into the English side. And after a road trip, I discovered the Okanagan Valley. I was in love with it. So it was, it's quite a journey. But now I see it exploding everywhere. We have a lot of support, and I think people start to understand that it's very important to invest in themselves, especially after COVID, where we were like isolated and inside. Now people wants to discover the outside more than ever, and we are here to provide it and at a high level.
Yeah, just seeing people just achieve something, like when you said you love teaching, it must feel great to like just share your knowledge. Like you have so much knowledge in all these areas.
I don't know everything that they say. Like I never know how to say it. I think it's like the more you know, the more you know you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so passionate, and now we actually to conclude what you said, what I enjoy the most to teach. We also have a third thing, which is called a Warrior Initiative. It's made for kids. So kids from 8 to 16, we teach them respect, integrity, survival, confidence, and so on, how to shake a hand properly, how to start a fire, how to express yourself properly, how to treat women well, how to treat men properly, how to be proud to be a man again, like why fitness is important. We do fitness stuff, we hike, we teach them, I like to compare it to the Scouts, but elevated. And there is no like bullshit, like we don't try to brainwash or anything. We bring them here, they understand they can express themselves, but there is also some rules, right? And some natural way to do things. And it's basic common sense, basically. And we want to show kids that they're more capable than they think, to question things as well before taking a decision or making an opinion. And also to have the skills to do things. They need to express themselves. Schools, they are inside. They are told what to do. And a lot of things are not really relevant. And so we love to do that as well.
Have you ever like considered reaching out to like the school system, seeing if like they could bring your course in? And...
We are in touch with a private school that really do believe into our program, and they try to help us to have credits to actually at some point open, like to reach the school system and basically change the system from the inside. But for the best of the kids, obviously. Mm-hmm. This guy really do believe into classroom outside. Right? Open walls, no walls, right? And, experiencing through nature, because nature is where we're from in the end of the day, right?
Yeah, like even like when I was in school, I was telling you, like one of my favorite courses is actually the outdoor education program. It's part of our gym class.
Yeah.
Where I was luckily enough, where I came from Ontario, it was like it was in the middle of nowhere, it was in the bush. Mm-hmm. So I had such a great experience. I think it'd be really good for kids today, but maybe not in the city. You wouldn't have that environment.
But it's possible. I do think it's possible. You just have to you just need the right people to do that. I don't know about you, but do you remember the best professors you had at school?
Yeah.
You remember them for what? Because they were original. They had a way to teach very specific. They are the people that adjusted to you and not they told you to adjust to them, right? That's what makes a good teacher or a good coach or instructor. It's the guy that adjusts to the crowd to make them better. They don't tell you, you have to be like this, you have to adapt. No, adapt to the kid. They all deserve a chance. We're all different, right? And also something very important that we try to build somehow is the community thing, where the school system is built to put you in a classroom with 20 other people you don't know for 1 year. And then you're going to change classroom, or maybe you have to move somewhere else and you're going to another school. So you don't build that community that's going to last 3 years. I think we are the last generation where we were in school with the same people for at least 4 or 5 years. You're still in touch with them. You experience life with them. You were in the bush with them. You were playing sports with them. Now they divided all the time and people feel alone. There's a reason why the system is built to isolate you. Where with our program, we built something where it's not just a hockey season. It's every weekend, 10 to 12, we meet all together. We do survival, we do teamwork, we learn something about ourselves as well. And the goal is for every year they come back and they can start like at the bottom or very young. At some point they become leaders and they understand the responsibilities to take care of the youngest, but also the elders. And that I think is very important. We have to go back to the basics. It doesn't take 5 years in the university to know how to do that. It just takes a bit of common sense, respect, and passion. I'm sure we can rebuild a new generation because they deserve it.
Yeah, they do. What's the cost associated with someone wanting to get into the course? Like, is it on the website? Like, to see if I want to come to a course for the weekend, or like for my kid to do it, or
all the civilian courses, pricings are on it. Every professional things, it's usually because it's professional for the armed courses. For shooting courses or CQB, it's more private because it depends on many factors. For an example, you're correctional, maybe your boss wants us to come to you, so they pay for you, right? So, or if you have such that many people, we try to do a better pricing because so many people are involved into that. We also offer some shooting course for civilians, but we select them. It's vetted, or they have to be armed professionals, or to have at least the restricted PAL.
Okay.
Yeah. So pricing are not really on it. They can ask for me. So I can share it for now. So for the CQB course, it's around $1,000 for a CQB course. It's a 2 days course, and you have the basics, and it's certified.
Oh, cool.
So when you're armed professional, you have a certificate. You have a number. If you're a sworn officer, it's in it. But if you're not a sworn officer, you have to pay for the certifications and tell us why is it for, because some agencies recognize it. Some you don't have to be officers, but if your agency, for an example, recognize that, we offer it right away. Or you give us a letter saying my boss recognize it. I'd like to have it. So you pay for the full price. You don't have to pay an add-on to have their certificate. We select people very much.
That'd be very good on a resume.
Very good, and you can work anywhere in the world. It can be again. It doesn't mean it's recognized by any agency, but it's good, especially at some point you want to do another job. Well, you can say, hey, guys, I did that. It's recognized in the US. A lot of people do some VIP protection thing. Mm-hmm. If you have that, that's cool. You work with Americans. They were police officer. Oh, I recognize that. That's cool. I know what it means. It means your standard is high. It's pretty high. So, yeah.
What's the amount of people you tend to work with at a time? Is it like 20 people max, or it's like you want to make sure people get the proper...
Yes, very good question. I don't like big courses where you don't remember the people you welcome, right? I like to know who I train and with who I do business. So we cap courses. Most of them are capped to 12. So for the kids, capped to 20 because we 4 instructors. But for professionals, like for the CQB course, we cap it at 12, right? If we need, we can cap it higher, but it depends on the needs of mostly of the department, right? But usually we cap it so we make sure all the questions are answered. We can keep track on how they progress and see if the goal for us is to make sure they get certified. So there is no bullshit. We want to make sure everyone deserve it. So yeah, we keep it very, very, very small.
So a very high success rate in the course.
Most of the time, yeah, we let's say well 10 on 12
Yep.
most of the time. And I talk about it when we used to teach to some civilians before. Now, yeah, the average is 10 on 12, which is like a very high percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, like not everyone's gonna pass. Like it's not for everybody. Like even doing like first aid courses or whatever. Like sometimes it's hard. You got to have those hard talks with people.
Yeah. But
not-
also, I'd like to add something about the CQB course. People think it's about shooting in the building. It's not. Shooting in any missions, it's 5% of the mission. That's the coolest part, but this is 5% of the mission. The mission is understanding the human behavior in the back and in the front of the gun. Understanding the stress, how to manage the stress in such an environment, but also the biomechanics, how to use your body to assess and understand and navigate through the environment to protect yourself, but also the team, and use your gear in the most effective way possible. Right.
Yeah.
So I do think it's very important. So we go more about environment, human behavior, biomechanics, and all that shapes the operator that is able to navigate the environment that is very stressful, to be able to collect information, identify, and then shoot or no shoot, which is very important for police officers. And we figured out that departments love it because they're like, that's cool. It's not just about shooting. It's about humans, like human beings, which is the why you enroll. You do corrections because you care about people somehow, even though you stay with, man, I respect you, what you do so much because you with the most dangerous people in the society, but you here to, you still need to have some empathy.
Yeah.
Right. To do this kind of job. So we go through that. I think it's very important.
No, that's so cool. I was talking to a retired police officer who used to work with me. He was talking about when like they used to clear buildings and like the training they did, and just like you'd have so much insight into that. I find it really cool. And like you said, you're part of a team, so other
Yes.
people are depending on you. So
Yeah.
if you lose your cool and you can get your whole team hurt,
Yes.
like you're responsible for everyone you're with.
And we've seen that, for example, UVAL in the US, like the shooting thing in the school. You had 20 officers in a corridor for 30 minutes doing nothing. Because you know what? They were not standardized. Oh, I do this, I do that. There is no leadership. There is no biomechanics, no stress management. It's all about gear. But the gear, you can have it if you don't know. So people are more professional and they know what to do and when to do it.
I always thought that having something I was talking about with a friend, it might be a little off subject, but I always thought that somebody like you should go in and train school teachers.
Yes.
Like be prepared, like and they have like access to like a gun locker.
Yeah.
Only one person can but like teach them what to do if an active shooter comes into a building.
Mhm.
I thought that would be so interesting. Just like, your team comes in, teaches them and protect people. You have to wait for the police to
Yes.
get there. This is like the designated responder for a situation like that. It'd be really proactive, but I don't know if you ever think that'll happen. Like,
Well, especially in Canada, it's not like the US. Maybe in the US, even though now in the US they have the college police, right? They have the school police right now, so we train them. But yeah, I do think that in the end, we are all civilians, we're all individuals, and it's our responsibility to protect and provide for the youngest or the elders. And safety and protection is very important. So I do think that having you don't have to be a sniper or an operator whatsoever. You just need a basic weapon training, firearm training, and tactics. You can make such a huge difference. It's like the basic of fitness. If you're minimum fit, well, you can do so much better and even save someone else. And you're not a liability. You're an asset for the society in general.
yeah, if I'm going down, I'm on your team. I just became a big problem for you. If I'm not able to run up
Yeah.
a flight of stairs,
Yeah.
it's like you shouldn't be here, buddy.
Yes.
Sorry.
No one is coming to save you.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What's going on now? Like what's your plan for the future? You're going to be expanding further?
Well, now it's expanding by itself. I would say the first event summer 2026 with the first obstacle course race. I'm looking forward for this. Yeah, CQB expanding. The goal is to make MLK Abilities more known. We have a podcast as well, like that is released in January. We're going to talk about like situational awareness, CQB, educations, fitness, all the cool stuff to help people to become the best version of themselves. That's the goal, basically. I want to help people so much on so many levels. Yeah, we're gonna expand again in Europe and South America. French SAS that now is in Canada and works with me. He says he told me that your system makes so much sense. It's the same base, but I'm sure you can go back and make sure they are updated. Aside of that, the kids program, I hope we're gonna reach more people, and yeah, just with that is enough. And my personal goals as well, I raise a family and travel and go back in France after 7 years now. I didn't go back, so I like to go back in France in my family in my country. To go back, boosted a bit. Yeah, aside of that, helping more people, spreading the word around, and because still getting in shape and good at what I do.
Yeah, man, you're doing really well. I'm really happy to hear that, and I'm really happy you're part of training our sheriffs because I have friends on that department. It's
Yeah,
really good
that
to
would
hear.
be nice. Yeah.
So where else can people find you? Social media, your website.
So MLK Abilities,
Yeah.
self-defense, boot camps, tactical courses. People can sign up to the newsletter and also the pro access. If you're a professional, you can just sign up to that one. So you vetted, you have to see who you are before. So you have access to the next courses. We don't advertise them anymore on social media. MLK Abilities, MLK Abilities Elite, which is the tactical part. We have Okanagan Warriors Adventure. And on Facebook, Instagram mostly. Newsletter, websites, YouTube channel, MLK Abilities and OWA for Okanagan Warriors Adventure. We plan to expand on social media and YouTube. I think it's a great platform.
It is.
Traveling in person, teaching maximum to standardized the way to do for professionals. Yeah.
Oh man, you're really driven, Jeff. It's a pleasure speaking with you today. Just everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you look out and look up Jeff's stuff. It sounds really cool. I'm really interested in hopefully maybe one day I can get on a course and check it out. And
for sure.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah, if they have any questions, just reach me out. I'm pretty accessible through social media. It's me for the moment that manage all of them. But if they have any question about a course or maybe, I don't know, anything they want to improve, I'm here, very accessible. Put the ego on the side, and I just want to help. So yeah, anytime.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Like and subscribe.
Just before, a gift.
Oh.
MLK Abilities patch. Well, you can choose. I have one for both of you.
Oh,
Black one?
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
Oh, the gray one?
That one's cool too.
This one is for you, buddy. Thanks guys for having me, and yeah.